You haven't seen your fight? All right, so that's what we're about to do. All right, so I'm here with Shay. She's back in town for Mock Fights 3. She just fought Madeline in the main event. A fantastic fight of the night again. So, obviously we're gonna watch the footage. You know Madeline, you guys have rolled before. What were your thoughts going in?
Just keeping her away from me, honestly. I knew she was just gonna go for takedowns. So while we were doing like the light sparring stuff, I was trying to like cut angles, work on using my teeps, but I was also a little worried about that because I didn't want her to like grab my foot and do a takedown that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Now, did you make your own game plan? Did you talk to anybody? Did you do, what kind of preparation did you do? Because you basically knew you were fighting for a month.
Yeah.
So what'd you do about it?
Well, when I went to Brunson's, kind of the same thing. Like, I knew I just didn't want her near me. Like, I didn't really want to box with her that much because I was scared she would, like, clinch. So just kind of working on range. And that's the same thing I was working on for the IKF, too. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, that makes sense to overlap. We'll talk about the IKF in a little bit. Did you know who it was, or just a tournament where you just show up and you get who you get?
I sort of knew who it was. We had, like, I was gonna switch the rule sets from unified to international, and we were gonna do that the day of, but then we just ended up sticking with it. So I knew what the girl looked like, but she didn't have any like fight posts up, so I didn't really know her style.
So you had it named before the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so if you could go briefly into what's the difference with the rules?
Okay, so there's also a mix-up like in the middle of the fight. So unified was supposed to be like, you can't catch kicks, you can't like grab two hands and clinch and knee. But then like 30 seconds in, she grabbed my leg and I thought the ref was gonna stop it, but he just kept going. So we asked him before the second round, like, so what's the rules? And it turns out the international rules and the unified rules were switched on their website. So I think international is you can't catch kicks and you can't clinch, and unified is you can catch kicks and you can clinch, I guess.
Do you have a preference?
I didn't want anyone to catch my kicks and try to sweep me or do any clinch work. Just because I didn't have a lot of time to prep, so I wanted to keep it as simple as possible.
That makes sense. So we'll be showing that in a little bit. But going back to the Madeline fight, you made your own game plan? Did you talk to any of your coaches and say, this is who I'm fighting? What are your thoughts? Or?
No, I kind of tried to keep it simple. I didn't really talk to people about it. I knew she would, the second we got to the ground, I knew she was going to dominate me in jiu-jitsu, so it was all about staying out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have an MMA fight coming up. When is that?
September 7th.
September 7th. Who's cornering you? Who's coaching you? Where is it?
I think it's going to be Vinny, who did my IKF fight, who's my jiu-jitsu coach, but he's grown up like doing karate, coaching his son, doing MMA stuff too. It's in Wilmington.
Yeah. Do you know the name of the show?
UVG.
I wonder what the name of the venue is, because I can't imagine there's probably not too many arenas there. I wonder if it's similar on.
It's like a YMCA.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nothing like spectacular.
It doesn't matter. You can get great competition in some, gym doing a smoker. So don't even think about that. But okay, so I'll get the info. I'll put some links in the comments, etc. Pretty excited to get into this. Any other thoughts before we jump into the fight?
No, I was excited to watch it.
All right, so I'm gonna run it back a little bit. And you haven't seen this yet?
No.
Is your angle okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'll edit it in like I did in the metal ones. Let me get the volume.
I like him in the corner.
Yeah, he was actually aiming the camera a little bit. He saved a lot of this. So in filming this, I had the two cameras going, and that kind of paid off. You guys aren't out of frame too much. He's the one actually fixing that. The hands were looking good. You're definitely coming over top with that overhand. The front kick was really good. What are you thinking during this? You just thinking the game plan?
I just wanted to keep moving, keep circling. I was worried because he kept saying like slow down on the power, and I don't know. I wasn't trying to like whack it or anything, but she would like come in as I was punching her.
Yeah, actually, You didn't hear too much from me, and you'll hear John a little bit, be like, oh, she's cracking. What it really is, it's two things. Madeline coming forward, because you weren't really banging.
Yeah.
It's her coming forward, but also her chin is up, her nose is up, so everything that touches her is going to make that head bob back a little bit. I would say maybe take a little bit off the front kick a little bit, but I mean, she's not going home with an injury. It's not that big of a deal.
She had great pressure the whole time. She didn't lay off.
I would actually say a slow, steady pressure like this is not what you want to have, because that just keeps me in your range the entire time.
Oh.
You have to kind of be out, recover, then sprint in real quick and just really haul. And we see her get that. We see the difference. But this is actually exactly what you don't want to do. You don't want to slow, constant pressure, because she's just going to stay in the range and just like that.
I'm just thinking about her cardio, because I know when I'm like pushing forward, I get so exhausted and I want to like step back.
I told her that, because like, she's got decent cardio, obviously she just came off a jiu-jitsu tournament. I told her, just expect to shoot maybe 3 takedowns around.
Yeah.
You shoot one, you get shoved off, don't get in your head and get frustrated. Just know, hey, I'm going to shoot one, it's going to get taken off, I'm going to have to go again. She didn't have a ton of time to train for this. Usually we'd have like 5 to 15 minutes a day. She tried to come in early and just work a couple drills. But a drill that we need to add is corralling, her to use her footwork to get your back towards the cage. You're doing a great job of doing the opposite of that, and just basically never let your butt point toward the cage. Mm-hmm. But she didn't really add any rushing in, and so that's some. Fights like these are good because obviously it can be very frustrating, but this is the kind of archetypal fight that someone like her is going to go against. Mm-hmm. To wrestle someone who wants to wrestle on you, that's a whole lot easier than someone that just doesn't want you to touch them at all. But you do real well. I think your first round here was the best footwork of the night. It still stayed good through the whole fight, but just constantly moving, constantly side to side, not a lot of backing up. You might back up one step and then you're circling in.
We drilled that a lot this past month, so it helps.
I'm trying to get John to do that. Honestly, I'm just going to make John watch your fight. So she gets it, she gets the ground. The camera will pan in a second. I'm saying we're going to do a different camera angle next time. I'll film from the other side. So that was the end of round one. What you didn't see there is Malin kind of rushed in, got a little bit of a clinch, a little bit of hands-on, maybe pushed her to the cage, but nothing to the ground. And so talk me through what's going on in the corner. Not wanting to sit, you think your legs are getting tired, you're just kind of making a statement? What are we doing here?
I've never wanted to sit. I just feel like once you relax, it's hard to like get back into it. Mm-hmm. So for the IKF, I didn't sit. For my first kickboxing match, I didn't sit. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of like a psychological thing. Like you're sitting over there in the corner, and then your opponent's just standing like defiant.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Some folks, when they take a couple leg kicks, they don't want to sit because they won't be able to get back up.
Yeah.
And then, what are your thoughts on ice?
I've never really like used ice before the mock fights, but I mean I like it. It feels nice. Maybe in like an actual fight it'd be a little different.
What you'll find is there's so much temperature coming off the body that it's pretty helpful for that. Because the first time you feel like, oh, get this ice off me, then you're like, okay, yes.
Yeah.
A little more effect on the skin, but still, we work on the shirt. So round two, we're seeing a little bit more of the same. Not a lot of footwork on Madeline. She didn't have a ton of time. That body shot right there with the front kick, that was definitely something. Didn't have a ton of time to work on the footwork. She does go in for a shot, so she's behind the knees here. Really good defense here. I was actually very impressed with that. Didn't panic, didn't blow your wad and go 1,000% on the defense, just enough to defend the shot. And sometimes you don't want to defend completely because then your opponent doesn't drive it, doesn't spend any energy on the shot, they just bail. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're not going to get taken out, if you can let them kind of go for it a little bit and lure them, they convert a lot of energy that way.
It's exhausting defending those takedowns though.
It's more exhausting throwing them.
Exactly. That's why I'm like so impressed with her. She just kept going the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. The one time your butt is facing the cage, that's when she's able to rush it and get it in. Yeah. Look at those fantastic zoom skills from the post in the edit. How do you feel those body shots?
I did it.
Yeah, she's doing nice.
Everyone just went crazy when she took me that.
Well, everybody likes that underdog story. You were super dominant in the first round. And then everybody here has seen the videos of her taking those arm bars in her last tournament.
I want to see this arm bar because I don't actually know how close it was.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about it when we get there. But so, Madeline, working the body. I would like to see a little bit of body head here, although your head's fairly protected. You know, in jiu-jitsu, they push so hard to pass. In fighting, I'd say you only pass when you need to. If you feel like you're being productive in half guard and your opponent's not either escaping or threatening you, you can stay there and maybe even have more control with it. I'm not stopping these fights for TKOs because I'm not letting anybody hit hard enough. And if I stop it real quick on a TKO, not that I would have done it there, you don't really get the opportunity to get the reps in that say. So here, we're in the armbar. Talk me through this. What are you feeling at what point?
Hers are sneaky. Like, I felt kind of safe on top. Like, I felt like I had room to kind of work out of it. But then when you'll see, like, she flips me over. Or I flip myself over.
Yeah, I actually thought that when you flipped, I was like, oh, she messed up, that was going to get it. And she lost it. Arm bars are a lot more difficult with the shin guard, so it could be a little bit of that. I would like to see a lot more pinch in the knees. That's going to be the end of round two. How, on a 10-point scale, how much danger did you feel like you were in at any point during the arm bar?
Well, when she had it fully extended, like a 7, but I felt space to move. Like, I knew I can turn over.
Yeah.
But also I talked to her after and she was like, oh, I wasn't trying to rip it or anything. So I was like, oh, she probably could have got it if she really sent it.
I was thinking that too. I think she popped one of the girls' arms in the tournament. She was going super slow. She wasn't just cranking and falling back, but I think that maybe made her a little bit of gun shy. But I don't know. If I got drilled in the face a bunch in the first round and I got somebody's arm, I would just squeeze super tight, slow and control, and slowly crank it. Easier said than done. You got the boxing gloves and the shin guards, but super close there. So what I would have liked to see from her, let's say you got an armbar on somebody, whether it's a realistic scenario or your friend or something, they're just not tapping, is kick off, take the back, and go for a choke. Yeah. So here we go, round 3. They've touched it up. We're getting into it. That leg kick was great. She's reaching a little bit. She's trying to catch those kicks. I do like that you're defending your kicks with your hands. We see that again about the 3rd time. You could also start faking the kick and just going straight into hands there as well. Not that you need much advice on that. The jabs were real snappy. The cross was real snappy. Yep, there's the fake. There it is. Yeah. So I threw him in there as a ref because Zach knocked over the camera, the other camera that we're not seeing the angle of. And I was like, just keep him to the head. As I'm trying to get it all set up and working.
I don't think I've ever seen that game before.
Justin, he wrestles a little bit. He's got one fight. I just grabbed something and I just make sure I'm But I'm going to film from a different angle. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. Actually, no, I'm in there as a ref because Zach knocked over the camera, the other camera that we're not seeing the angle of. And I was like, just keep him to the head. As I'm trying to get it all set up and working.
I don't think I've ever seen that game before.
Justin, he wrestles a little bit. He's got one fight. I just grabbed something and I just make sure I'm But I'm going to film from a different angle. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. Actually, no, I was keeping the cameras close to the front desk because that's where the Wi-Fi is. So for the streaming, and I was having connectivity issues. But I might have the stream camera from one angle and then have my camera film from the other side since I'm just going to record. Internet won't matter.
Josh kept telling me to take her down. And I was like, no way.
I think he was telling Madeline to take you down. Maybe that's what it was.
No, he when I went to the corner, he was like, she's tired, take her down. I was like, no.
He's trying to give you bad advice.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to mess you up.
I told him not to sabotage me.
No, that sounds like he might. I was going to do a podcast with him yesterday, but I need to do the editing, so I might get him tonight. But he probably had money on Madeline. He's probably listen. She got this on bar. Was that a calf kick?
Yeah.
Calf kicks are kind of hard to get a payoff with the shin guards on at all. Really doesn't do much. When you calf kick, try to calf kick lower. The closer you are to the knee, the thicker it is her bone and the thinner your bone. And that's where a lot of guys end up racking their shin and breaking it. So try a little lower. So fantastic turnaround. I was very impressed on that.
Yeah.
I almost wondered if you were going to get a takedown just to kind of finish the round out. Wouldn't have been worth it though. Unnecessary.
Yeah. I was thinking about grabbing that leg, but I was like,
Grabbing that leg, yeah. I thought you were going to do it there because I actually don't like her doing that inside hook. I don't think it gives her anything. You can just bring your heel to your butt and then she's down. But it wouldn't be worth it. I feel like if she got you in an armbar late in the third round, she probably would have gone for it just to get something. So body shots, looking good. Definitely feeling some fatigue. What cardio did you do for this, or just is it all fighting?
No, I run like 30 minutes after practice. But then the shin splints, like my ankles are so tight right now, and the second I got off of that, like the front of my legs just completely tensed up.
After this fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Did you do that foam rolling thing? Did it help?
Yes, and actually my brother has this like Theragun, so he had me like flex and he like went down the muscle, and that really helped.
Yeah. So with the shin splint, you've got the bony part of the shin, you got the flat face, you got the blade, and then right between the blade and the muscle, there's some connective tissue here. And so if sometimes it feels like the muscle's getting torn off. That can be shin splints. I would say avoid running on hard surfaces or avoid running for long distance to make sure your shoes are good. The other thing is, it's very old school traditional to go and do like a 30-minute run. But with a fight like this, you do a 3-minute round and a 1-minute rest, and a 3-minute round and a 1-minute rest. And so what I would say is the 30-minute volume, plus the factors of the hard surface, the shoes, etc., that 30-minute doesn't really train you specifically for what you want to do. It's good in general, keeps you in shape, etc. You'll find that you're lasting longer through the fight. But if you want to get a little bit more sport specific, I would do just a little warm up, whatever, kind of get warm, get sweaty, and then maybe do a 3-minute run at a faster pace on a soft surface. And then since your run's shorter, it's going to be easier for you to find a surface that's okay, like where's a grassy spot that's not sketchy where I'm not going to like step on the glass or step in a hole and twist an ankle. I don't know if you're at the university over there, right?
Yeah.
So for example, at Carolina, they have fake grass hills that like the lacrosse team use. So I bring fighters over there, stuff like that. So you can run hills, etc. If you do run hills, condition to it. If I just threw you on a hill and had you do like a bunch of sprints a day, you might have some like Achilles stuff, you might have some weird stuff. So if you do something that's a change like that, I would just have you do hill walking for a little bit. And since the shins are already kind of spicy, maybe you could replace your running with some hill walking for a while. Do like a week or two of that. And then eventually, okay, let's do some like 50% effort sprints, sprint up, walk down, sprint up, walk down, something a little more sport specific. One more example that we would do at Carolina is if we were on flat, we had the hurdles, and we'd set the hurdles up where the top of the hurdles make a S kind of formation. So you jump over, jump side, jump over, I'll find that video and send it to you. But just some sort of creative like plyo, jumping, explosion kind of stuff, because you naturally kind of fight that when you have that explosion to you. And then for hills, if you had a buddy, you sprint up the hill, he has Tide pads, you clinch on and just throw like 10 knees or something.
Yeah. So with my fight coming up, what would you recommend for cardio in between?
You said it's September 7th? Or
yeah, it's next weekend.
So it's next weekend. I wouldn't do too much crazy stuff between that, honestly. I would probably chill out on the shins.
Yeah.
I would find some sort of cardio that doesn't bug the shins at all. So maybe if you can do elliptical and it doesn't bug it, okay, we can replace that. I wouldn't add in anything new or completely different like jumping hurdles or hill sprints. Maybe walking hills would be okay. And even that, I would kind of take it easy because I just don't want to feel like walking hills, you use a lot of muscles at the feet, and it's a lot of stress on the Achilles, which is good, but you want time to adapt to it. So long story short, anything that doesn't bug the shins would be pretty good. You could do a lot of like wrestling drills where it's like pummeling, but I'm pushing you to the cage or you're pushing me to the cage, things like that. More sport specific, more in like maybe a 1 minute, a 2 minute, or a 3 minute kind of stuff, things like that. But long, slow distance running, I'd say it's out.
Okay.
All right, so this is the point sparring tournament. Do you know the name of the tournament?
No, it was hosted by United and Apex.
So if we get the name of the tournament, I'll put it in a comment or something. We can do it later. But if it was anybody else sending me a point sparring video, I'd be like, nah, that's okay. But you're entertaining to watch. You're a special lady. So let's watch and see what happens. I think I've got it in order. Yeah, it looks good. So we do have this video up on the channel. I'm going to try to edit it into the podcast when I get time for it. Talk me through it.
Can we rewind? Because when
I watched this a bunch of times.
I watched it too, which is why I realized that I don't think I actually hit her. I think she's like swept back and like pulled her leg in and swept herself.
I think too. I think she tried to hop away from your kick, and then her foot ended up going. So we'll run this back one more time, basically from the start. So we're watching her lead quad. But when I first saw it, I was like, damn, this is how she points bars? Yeah.
Yeah.
So she just pulled her feet back too much. But still counts. Were they scoring knockdowns or anything like that?
I don't think so.
It was like point sparring, I think maybe not. Was that the catch of the kick you were talking about?
Yeah, and then I did it just by instinct.
I think she did the same thing with her.
Yeah.
Now this guy, it's super blurry, so I can't tell. I don't know if this guy is going to be one of the striking coaches at Fight Flow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know how many older Asian guys with a ponytail there are in the area. So it might be him, might not.
I can't come back. He got mad at me.
Oh, no. Everybody's adrenaline's up a little bit more on fight day. So I don't take anything like that personal. Like, basically nothing bugs me, but when Zach knocked over the camera when I'm filming, throw him out. Because your temperature's just so much shorter. I was like, out, get out. Especially since last time all the footage got scrambled. I was like, not again. Talk me through it.
Yeah, so here I just wanted to get like ring control because they were judging that too. So I was just trying to pressure her towards the edge, get her off the mat, kind of like mess up her side a bit. I had like 2 combinations that I was trying to work through. It was like a T jab cross and with a round kick. Just kind of like a high volume, like get points, but also like keep her away from me.
Do you know how the points were scored?
Well, like if I punch her and she blocks, that's a point. If I punch her and it connects, that's a point. Kick her, it's a point. Kick her and she blocks, it's a point.
You get points off blocks?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Is it like 1 point for a hit, 2 points for a block, or 2 points for a hit, 1 point for a block?
They don't have the exact breakdown, but I assume it was just 1 and 1.
Yeah.
I don't know how I like points for blocks, but
Yeah.
and in this round, if you win 2 rounds, you don't go to the 3rd. So I was like, I'm not going a 3rd round.
First round, basically, Rock was like robots. Was that her back fist?
Yeah, I was kind of excited when she threw it because I was trying to avoid doing that, but.
You didn't have any back fists in the fight.
Oh, in the mock fight?
In the mock fight,
I was not gonna do that.
You were like getting taken out?
No.
Sometimes it gives you a little more space as well.
She did a really good job of like pressuring me.
Keep talking. Where I'm from.
It kind of messed up the combinations I was trying to do because when I would go to team her, she would either grab it, which I wasn't training for,
Yeah.
or she would just like kind of crunch my leg in, so I had more staying boxing range.
I was wondering why I only went 2 rounds. I was like, did you get a TKO on a point spur? And then the push out, we saw that a little bit earlier. Were you getting scored for a push out?
No, I was just, my coach was like, just push her away from you if she gets too close, so she can't score those points. And then a little later, I pushed her in the face, and that's why he got a little upset with me.
Was that right there or was that later?
I think that was more in this corner. I did that.
What are they mad about? Like, you can punch him in the face, but you can't push him in the face?
Yeah, he was like, you can't do that. I can push her on her biceps. Just, I guess the face was too much.
I feel like the danger would be more of pushing off the mat than pushing someone in the face.
And the lights were like super close to the mat, and I was like, someone's gonna fall in. And it was my teammate who like crashed my leg.
Fell into it?
Yeah.
In the old days, those lights were so hot that they would burn you. A lot of like guys on film crew, the light would fall and hit them in the back. Like you're here like with a camera and the light hits you, and it would just sear you. Now everything with LED is so much better. But you see some guy on stage, and it probably still happens a little bit, some comedian on stage, just pouring sweat down because the lights are that hot from that far away.
Yeah, I don't see the reason.
That's how lights were back in the day. LEDs weren't invented yet. LEDs were a Nobel Prize.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. When you see like a light that gets hot, I think like 80% or 90% of the energy goes into, it's wasted in heat. So LEDs are much more efficient and more bright. All right, Chica, what else? So you've got the fight on the 7th. Definitely send me all the info. I'll put it in the information box of the video. What do you do for fun? Other than just beat up girls?
I'm so busy. I have 2 on-campus jobs. So I work before class and I work after class.
Yeah.
Then I go to the gym and I go to school. But when it's like the summertime and I have more time to myself, I like to read. I love being outside. I love going to the lake. What else? I like to watch shows and stuff. Just chill.
Yeah. No crazy going out late after the fight?
You know, I used to, like, kind of last year and in high school I used to go out, but like more and more I've kind of like grown out of that. Yeah.
That kind of happens. Like if you get serious about fighting, you're like, if I mess up my sleep, my whole week is shattered. I was a bouncer for a while, which is kind of interesting. When I was taking fights, I was using training people and fighting, so I was paying my bills. And so there's a lot of gaps in between. Maybe your opponent gets sick or cancels or something, so you lose that. And just being in the fight game, we had a friend who was at our gym that came up and he was like, I've got a club, I need guys for security, for bouncing, so I did that for a little bit. So I kind of got my itch scratched by being a bouncer there.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's enough for me. And
just the energy of like being in that environment.
Like, I think, you know, clubbing and stuff is fun with little people. Everyone should kind of like check it out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Some people go way too long, way too far, but I got my fill there. It was fun. I got to finish 2 stories from that, but I'll tell someday. But serious about fighting. It's nice. You could definitely go far. I like that you get after it, not only in the fights, but also like you did the mock fights, you did a point sparring thing after, you've got a fight showing up like that. If you stay in shape and don't like take a month off here and there, your injury rate is going to be a lot less, you're going to have a lot more progress. If you have the time, obviously you're busy, 2 jobs, school, etc. But if you can fit these fights in, it's going to pay off so much in the future. And a lot of people will sit back and be like, when I'm less busy in the future, I'll do this and this and this. I don't know if anyone, as time goes on, who gets less busy in the future.
It's
it
just
only
an
speeds up.
excuse. If you really want it, you can make it happen. I'm worried I'm doing too much. Like with the like whole maybe shin splints or like something going wrong with my legs. Like I'm worried like I'm gonna overextend myself.
You got anything else going on or just the shins?
It's the shins, and then I still feel that like back sprain I had at the beginning of the summer. My ankles aren't quite right because I sprained both of them. But for the most part, it's...
So the big picture, I'd say how it just like pretty close to 8 hours a day.
I try really hard.
So what's your accuracy? You think like 80% on that or what?
I would give it like 60%. Yeah.
So when I was a strength coach, briefly I was a strength coach for Carolina football and some other sports. The number one thing I'd say all the time is you don't get big and strong from lifting weights. You get big and strong from recovering from lifting weights, which is super different. If I'm not sleeping and my diet's crap and I'm this and that, I'm stressed, I can go kill it in the gym, but it's actually going to harm me more. It is very possible, not all of it, but maybe some of your stuff is because you're not getting the recovery that you could or should get. Maybe if you got 8 hours a night every night, maybe your shins would recover fine, and we wouldn't kind of max that out. So the other thing I'd always tell people is don't mess up the easy money. Training 6 days a week, lifting weights all the time, doing this, doing that, whatever your sport is, that's the hard part. Eating and sleeping should be the easy part. So don't mess up those things, because that's what really shortens careers and just you get more bumps and bruises and things like that. So nail down sleep. I like Huberman podcasts, that's pretty good. A lot of tips and tricks, but basically put yourself on a routine and then just think about that. Other things, protein's huge. So
I've been drinking protein shakes ever since you told me to.
Good. Yeah. Protein's huge for a bunch of reasons. So people think about like building muscle and things like that, which is obviously true. But winter's coming pretty soon. It's like what, the end of, it's in September now.
Yeah.
As winter comes in, we're thinking more about immune system. The immune system takes a ton of protein. Healing injuries takes a ton of protein. Anytime that I've got a significant injury, was during the cutting phase. Because if I'm cutting calories, my body's not getting enough calories to keep my body mass. Do you think your body has enough calories to heal some stuff? So you have to be careful about that. And let's say you're cutting before a fight, you want to be very smart about who you have around you, who's training with you, because you're in your weakened state. You know, just losing the weight itself is one thing, but also you're lowering calories, total calories, and also total protein. So just make sure you don't have a bunch of idiots that are twice your size and will fall on you, or just people just doing wild stuff. A little bang. No one goes into a fight 100%, but you want to get as close as you can. So if I were you, I would actually count calories for maybe like 3 days, maybe a week, just to give you a better accuracy of what you're kind of getting in your day. So for example, I'm 235 pounds, and I fluctuate between there and like it's like 250, etc. If I'm in a lifting cycle. A lot of people go with like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which means I need around 250 grams. That's 2.5 chickens a day, right?
Do you make it?
It depends. Right now I've got a bunch of beef that I got from one of the bulk stores that I'll make. Rotisserie chickens from the grocery store, super cheap.
Yeah.
It's already cooked for you. There's a lot of things that you can do that are easy. Obviously a protein shake is going to help, so maybe 1, maybe even 2 a day depending. Gets it down easier. And also, if you talk about cost per gram of protein, the supplements start to win. I tell people supplements like your car. Like if you live right at school and you can walk to school and walk to work and walk to this, you don't really need the car, right? In fact, the car is kind of a pain in the butt. But most people need a car, right? And so supplements are the same way. If you could get everything in a whole food diet, great. But it's a lot easier. You know? The biggest thing is, as people get older too, is like whether it's bodybuilding or sports, is your limiting factor could be your gut. A lot of people just be like, I just can't get that much food in like I used to. So while you're young, you can do it. Try to do it now. Are you doing any cut for this upcoming fight?
No, it's semi-amateur, so it's like roughly 135 we're at, but it's
135. She's gonna come in at like 170.
Yeah.
She's gonna come in with her ruffles and be like, what is semi-amateur?
It's just like for UBG, Ultimate Battlegrounds, it's like the week before you go amateur, so just to help people like break the ice, get used to like being in the ring and not get completely destroyed.
You're already doing mock fights. So for most people, for point sparring, I'd say if you're sparring in the gym, I think point sparring, I don't know, I'm more of like an 18 and under for point sparring. If you're just looking for something to get active on the schedule and you see it okay quick, you can go at it, you know, I don't take a shot at that. But I feel like if people are sparring actively in the gym, I feel like they can kind of just go to the next one. That's why I like adding in my own kind of mock fight, a little bit less than a smoker. It's like, how close can we get you to the vibes of a fight with minimal injuries, head trauma, etc., as safe as possible? Because there's so many people that they want to get close to the fight, they want to train, they want a little extra, but maybe they can't go full time and take a fight, or they can't risk the head trauma. Like I always make fun of Cindy. She's getting like a PhD at Duke, and so someone's like, well, why didn't you take a fight? And I was just like, well, she's got this big old brain she's paying for that she doesn't want to get rattled around, so maybe it's not worth it. So for something like that, it makes sense. Okay, point sparring, that way you can kind of get super close to it, get something fun, put something on the schedule that makes your training better. But I like the mock fight so much.
I don't know, I liked the adrenaline and like the nerves. I was a little bit nervous for the fight with Maddie.
Before the fight or during?
Just before. It's just literally the walking and the touching gloves, and then I'm fine. So I feel like I took the IKF, and it's kind of just to like drill into my body that it's like I'm okay. Like the second it starts, I'm fine. Working on like actually thinking instead of just like brawling with someone the whole time. So I like it for that.
Yeah, if you had nerves, no one would have known, because you were just right on the game plan. You're completely lasered in, focused in. Never got too excited. Never overthrew anything. Never over defended anything. It's good. Yeah. It's good. Has anyone seen your fight video yet? I think it went live this morning. So
wait, which one?
The most recent?
I think there were a couple of weeks when I looked at it.
Yeah. Some people have it set up with like the subscription thing or
Yeah.
whatever. You get the notifications.
Mhm.
But yeah. Oh man, did you see anyone else's fights yet?
No, I haven't been on my phone much, but I want to
Makes
watch
sense.
it later. Yeah.
In case y'all missed it, she literally just came off a fight, yesterday?
Yeah,
Yesterday morning.
that's right.
I'm curious to see the comments. I think it was a good night, a good show. I need to do more effort to get more unfamiliar people in.
Mhm.
I brought in that wrestler. He popped in a little bit, and so he took 2 fights. Javon's like 9-1 amateur,
Mhm.
and so
Wow.
he came in and put a wrestling clinic.
Mhm.
He's still a lot more than I thought he would do, but I think if you just take everybody down and just get on top of them, it'll be very effective, but do you get better from that training? So I like that he challenges himself and he stands up. So many really good wrestlers will come in and all they want to do is wrestling and training and fighting and this and that, just only that, and their potential just stops right there.
Mhm.
So makes me feel good when I see someone like Ja or like yourself jump in the jiu-jitsu classes, go in there, get on guard, goof around a little bit.
Mhm.
That's how people get better. I was pretty good wrestling. I wouldn't say I was outstanding in any regard. But the reason I felt that I got good in mixed martial arts is because I was completely fine getting out of the comfort zone.
Mhm.
Okay, we're doing boxing today. Okay, great. Okay, we're doing Thai today. Okay, we're doing jiu-jitsu, wrestling, etc. And then you can just constantly improve, and it doesn't get stale
Mhm.
as well. All right, so give me all the infos,
Yeah.
etc. That'll work. I've got this thing filming. The audio is shooting frontal instead of on me, which is all around. So we'll see how things work out with a random shot running around. But we rolling with it.
That was good.
It's not bad.